By the way, the recording is starting now, so I hope you guys are taking notes.
That's a question.
What?
So like to add more joints and all that, you just like click an area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Click and drag and it makes the Z-sphere bigger or smaller.
Click and drag the dark part or the
You're just clicking and dragging on the Z-sphere. So like right here, I got one, and I'm just clicking and dragging. That makes it bigger. Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to go and take this. I want to scale it down a little bit, so I'm going to scale that down. Maybe scale these down just a little bit. If I want to delete the joint, let's see, go back to draw, and should be Alt. I can delete them that way. Mm-hmm. Hold down Alt. You can delete them that way. All right. Let's draw another one. So for these characters, I'm doing a T-pose. So hands out like this. Rigging purposes, it'll be much easier for us just to create a character like this. Okay. So shoot for that. For the elbow, I'm going to get a very slight bend so I know where my elbow is going to be. And then the hand, let's actually scale that wrist down. Right there. Up. Scale that elbow down. Come on, give me that. There we go. Using scale on the bone, you'll see actually scales the entire limb, which may not be exactly what you want. All right. So this was drawn by one of my students a few years ago. So I think he did one thumb, 1, 2, 3 fingers. So I'm going to add in the base joints for each one of those. So when I do a hand, I'm pretty specific about it. 1, 2, 3 in terms of the finger placement. So with hands, if you hold your hand out like this and then relax it, you'll notice your thumb drops about 45 degrees to the parallel of the back of your palm, back of your wrist. Okay. Holding your hand out flat like this is easier to model, but this is a more natural position for you guys. This is actually important because when we get to rigging, you want to have a neutral position that's relaxed between extremes. You don't want to have anything that's going to be an extreme position. So having your hand out like this, the thumb is basically at the extent of its stretch. This is about halfway in between here and here. So when we rig, we want the fingers to be highly mobile. The thumb is going to be the most mobile of all of our fingers because they can go in all sorts of directions, right? Additionally, you have 1, 2, and then actually a third joint down here at the base of the thumb. So your thumb actually moves at a pivot point that's right inside of here, which enables the thumb to be able to hit every single finger, especially the pinky. Modeling your hand flat like this, when you need to move that thumb over to cup the palm or to touch the pinky, that's a lot of movement for that geometry to accomplish. So doing it halfway means you can stretch the thumb out that way, or you can bend the thumb under the palm if you need to. Okay. I realize it's easier to do this. Don't do this. Just relax it. Bring it down to 45 degrees. You'll have a much easier time when you animate your character. A lot less stretching in the geometry. Cool? Okay.
So with the character style we're doing, if the character only has 3 fingers, we're still doing 5 because we initially have 5 fingers.
We're doing the style of animation that you're going for. So my artwork was drawn with 3 fingers. So I'm doing 3 fingers and a thumb. And this is going to be more of an anatomical thing, depending on how close to human you're actually going for. If you look at your hand, none of your fingers are actually, the bases of them, none of them are actually right, basically in line with each other. They're all slightly askewed in a kind of a circular pattern. So make sure that when you're modeling your fingers, again, this is for more realistic humans, that you follow that. Now, again, animation does not necessarily follow this. But if you're ever going to be doing a realistic human, you need to make sure you follow that, because like it looks really weird if you have like all 4 of these fingers in a straight line. It's kind of weird. Again, if you're doing an anatomically correct human. So I'm going to move this thumb down. I'm going to move these fingers up a little bit. There we go. And then let's go ahead and draw our thumb, pull it out. The brush size does have an effect on which Z-sphere it actually grabs. The larger the brush size, the more Z-spheres it's going to be grabbing. Spread the fingers out a little bit. There we go. Keep an eye on the length of that thumb. It is so easy to make that thumb way longer than it needs to be. I've seen characters where students have modeled, and I've done this too, by the way, where I have not paid attention to the length of my thumb. And then when you put your fingers together, the thumb is like right in line with the rest of them. That is not human. That is a primate, but it's not human. I don't know what that is. Chimpanzee, maybe? So kind of checking on this. The finger is actually kind of short, stumpy. With fingers in general, I like to, again, relax the hand. There's going to be a very slight curve on the fingers. I like to usually put that in there. So put a couple joints in there. And then just very slightly bend those fingers. It helps me remember like which plane I'm actually like rotating these things on. Also keep in mind the direction your thumb actually bends. It bends to the inside of your palm. It does not bend down the way your fingers do. In fact, here's a little science trick. Everyone hold your hand out. Take your thumb. Try to twist it to where the thumb is actually pointing downwards. Do you feel that resistance? Kind of hurts after a second, doesn't it? That's not how thumbs move. Thumbs bend to the inside of the palm. we have opposable thumbs. I've seen so many students that have made like everything completely flat, and I'm like, where the hell did you find that reference? So the, by the way, the student that drew this, we ended up making all the characters based off of like food items. Anyone want to take a guess what he's based off of? Hot dogs. Give his body a little bit more of a wienery shape. And for the feet, if you have like bare feet or you're modeling bare feet, just follow the same thing as the hands. But I'm giving him shoes. So
So we don't have to do the toes or anything, we're just doing shoes.
if you're modeling, if you have bare feet in your design, then you would have bare feet in the model. But if you don't, then you don't have to model feet.
Okay, so pretty much like the only inside thing we're doing is the mouth, nothing inside of.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was worried that we'd have to do toes inside shoes.
Not for this project, not unless you really want to.
What if our feet go more often to a point? If you go with shoes.
You mean like the shoes go into a point?
Yeah.
Then we would just, now, we're just kind of replicating general proportions here. So again, this is all spheres, so that's gonna be a little bit difficult to do. I mean, you can try to make it a little more pointy by adding a, extra sphere and making it into a point. But we're also gonna be sculpting this, so you can just sculpt it into that position if you need to. Just realized they gave my character a hunchback. I don't feel like he has a hunchback. To be aware of having spheres that subduct into other spheres. Once we turn this into geometry, that can cause issues. So like holes or like divots or stuff like that. So generally don't go for this. Try to be careful with the spheres you're putting in here and have them visible. Also would not get too sphere happy by creating like as many spheres as you think you can possibly handle. Just make what you need. Yeah. So when I push a sphere into another sphere, see how it turns into a negative. So when we turn this into real geometry, a lot of times it gives us aberrations in the geometry that need to be resolved or filled in, or it causes extra work that honestly we don't really need to deal with. So just try to make sure you're not pushing spheres inside of other spheres. So just move it out like that. So see, I got a sphere at the base of the neck. I have a fairly rounded head. That does a weird little shape like that. That a little bigger. And then he's got a fairly phallic nose. Let's throw that on here too. Base, scale that down. So this is going to actually give me an issue I was talking about, where I have an extra sphere kind of in here. So I kind of have to dig it out a little bit. See that right there. And actually, I think I'm going to get rid of one of these. Let's get rid of that one. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just for reference, because I want to quick save mine. How do you want us to save these so we can still continue to work on them? Do we just save them as an ETL or do
So-
we do the document one?
You can do a Z project, because again, that's the one that's going to save your artwork in there. But what you're turning into me needs to be a Z tool. Okay. These over here, this is gonna be where the ear placement will end up being. And then I think that's. I think that's pretty much it. That'll work. So I need to go and turn this into real geometry, okay? I would pay attention to this part. This is a part that a lot of you guys will miss. So if I go down to adaptive skin, you'll see an option for preview. If you click that, you'll see geometry. And then what you're going to want to do is you feel like you can go and start sculpting. This is not real geometry. The word preview should be a hint. It's not real. It's a preview. So what we need to do is we need to actually do make adaptive skin. The preview is going to, again, just give us a preview. Are we happy with what we see? Do we have any anomalies we need to take care of? So I'm going to go ahead and click make adaptive skin and take a look at that. Now, just like with the Boolean, it's going to create a new Z tool. Okay. This is going to be the mesh that you start sculpting on. This will be your guy. Okay. You know, this has been turned into an adaptive skin by looking at skin Zsphere 1. It says skin on it. Okay. This is important. I want you guys to make sure you understand this.
They make the balloon where you make.
It's not ballooning. This is
This is
similar to ballooning in that it creates a new Z tool. So I want you to walk me through this. How do I make this Z sphere into a full mesh I can work on? Tell me what I need to do.
adaptive skin.
Okay, so we'll go to adaptive skin. Then what?
If you're happy with what you have, finding it to review the result, click preview.
Yeah, so if I click preview, I can take a look and preview what it's gonna look like. Is that what I sculpt on though? No. So I want to turn this into a regular mesh we work on. What
Make adaptive skin.
there you go. Good job. Make adaptive skin. It'll make a new Z tool. Let's talk about some of the options in here. You'll see where it says density and Dynamesh resolution. Both of these will basically up the resolution of the mesh. Okay, so yeah, so if you want a heavier mesh, you can up that Dynamesh resolution. Okay, it'll add more faces to it. I would recommend starting off low. Dynamesh resolution of 256. That's going to give us a mesh of 372,000 faces. So here's the thing. What we see here, does that look like 372,000 faces? No, that's not. If we turn on the polyframe, what we see is basically the mesh is reinforcing the low resolution version, but it's again 300,000 faces. It's a little deceptive. A lot of times I'll have students say, it's really low resolution, but when I try to smooth it, it doesn't smooth very well. Well, it's because it's 300,000 faces. So it's a bit deceptive. So lowering the density can help with that. So that actually will make this look lower resolution, but again, it's going to still be 300,000 faces. So we can also take the Dynamesh resolution, and you'll see that actually takes it down to about 13,000 faces. However, lowering that, you'll start to lose detail. So things like fingers and stuff, that's going to go bye-bye. So you need to be careful with that. So you'll need to kind of play around with it to get it wherever you want it to be. My suggestion would be not necessarily to mess with these settings, because we have another way we can knock this thing down to a more manageable size and work with it. So initially, this thing's 300,000 faces. I'm going to go under geometry, and I'm going to go to ZRemesh, and I'm going to tell it to run a ZRemesh. So that's going to take the 300,000 faces and give it a topology that looks more similar to what the mesh is showing. And that's only going to be 10,000 faces. So that's more usable. That's more doable. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I know when we subdivide and try to do other things, in one district, it's like three subdivisions or.
What else you do what?
Things like that.
Right.
Does the ZRemesher also do that?
ZRemesher is not actually creating subdivision levels. All I'm doing is I'm just retopologizing the mesh automatically. So I have a low resolution mesh I can play with proportions on. 300,000 faces. It's going to be more difficult for me to sit there and use the move brush to like move like large sections of the mesh. This thing sitting at 10,000 faces, much easier to work with. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. This is something I can also subdivide if I need to get higher resolution. Probably I'll end up Dynameshing it, I'm adding in with other features, like the eyes, the ears, working with the hands, things like that. Like that's, I'm gonna be dancing between dynameshing and zero meshing a few times. So it's just kind of whatever I feel the mesh needs at that point in time. But eventually, like I said before, dynameshing for me is a construction method to get the mesh to a place where I can start adding higher resolution detail. And granted, this guy doesn't have a high resolution detail, it's pretty basic. So we may not really get there. But when I'm doing most of my sculpts, I use Dynamesh to construct that mannequin, which I still have to do some construction on. But then zero meshing and subdividing is where I start adding in a lot more of those smaller details that Dynamesh is not going to really work for. That makes sense. All right. Let's go ahead and save this, make sure I don't lose it. All right. So I'm going to be building essentially this character as a naked character, and then I'm going to be building the clothes on top of that person. So that's going to be my kind of approach to this, because I can extract the clothes on top of them. That's going to be a little bit easier for me to work with. So first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and smooth this out a little bit. The hands too much. All right, so it looks like the shoulders, I need to bring those in a bit. Let's grab that move brush. There it is. And I'm just kind of assuming, or I'm just imagining like the arm is going to be pretty thin inside of this. And it's really just going to be the sweater that's real bulky. So I will sculpt that appropriately when I get to that point. And let's go and do a clay buildup. I swear they add so many new brushes to ZBrush that it's hard for me to like keep track of where everything is. Like I'm like, I know exactly where clay buildup is. Boom. It's not there anymore because they moved it like several down. Yeah, you kind of can, because you got your quick picks. So once you use something, it pops up here. But actually, to be fair, you kind of can. When you start, setting everything up and you get your quick picks up here, you can actually set up the initialization of ZBrush. So like once everything gets set up the way you want to, then you can save like the startup or whatever. So it starts up that way every single time. So actually it's not initialization, it's like startup. Yeah, it's basically in here. I would look up like how to do that, but I know a lot of artists will like set up ZBrush very specifically, however they like it. I'm gonna push that wiener shape a little bit more. Make those legs a little bit thinner. And pull those knees in just a little bit. Pull those knees and hips in. And then this is gonna get pulled out on the side. Get that palm down there. 'Cause that Z-sphere palm is always, looks like you got stung by a bee. And then, let's see, the fingers are pretty thick little fingers. So let's take this and just kind of swell them up. This is inflate. Use inflate, make sure you rotate around and make sure it's not just like inflating just one side. Thicker. There we go. Feel like I'm kind of inflating a balloon here.
Making a balloon.
Yeah, it does feel like that. Okay. Perspective on. Okay. All right, let's do insert primitives. I'm gonna go and start working on the ears and put some eyes in here. You could do the the trim cut that I did, or knife cut for the last one, or just hammer it in. Whatever works best for you. Let's go back here, rotate it in. So you see, I mean, you see how just quickly I'm working here. Like the Z-spheres, I think really do help out. We're just building something super fast. let's do clay buildup. I'm gonna sub it. And then just dig in just a little bit. Not so sharp down here, but a little bit sharper up here with that little bend. I see, like right there. And then that'll lobe right there. Right, that's kind of looking like him. All right, let's go and throw in some eyes. Here. See how, yeah, they're pretty much just circular eyes. Okay. Okay. And then his hair. Let's do. Let's see. Actually, let's do this. Nope. Nope. I'm just constructing things right now. I'm gonna separate stuff out pretty soon.
Is it like different if like the hair is long?
I mean, no, not really. Because I mean, I've done construction with extractions for the hair last time. This time I'm just using just primitives. So yeah, honestly, if it was long hair, I probably would still use a sphere. Just pulling it out quite a bit and then flattening it or thinning it out. Or you could use a cube and just kind of get it the thinness or thickness that you need. Actually, another option, if you want a uniform thickness, is to use a pinned plane. And shape that to the hair. Careful, because it's like invisible on one side. By the way, if you go down to display properties, double, they'll show it on both sides. But the idea is that if you shape this and then go to subtool, extract, it'll make a uniformly thick object. So whereas the problem with the cube is you may have like a non-uniformly thick object, this way you would have a plane that's just been like extracted out. So that could be a method if you wanted to do longer hair.
Where would you find the pin plane again?
The what?
The pin plane that you just showed?
Append, it's under subtool, and it's just a plain 3D.
It was funny, when I had class, I was calling it Aspen.
Aspend.
Yeah. I remember that. She was like, "Oh, how do I do this?" I'm like,
How do you do an aspend?
yeah, she's like, "There's no Aspen." I'm like, "Oh, thing."
Well, yeah, it gotta be, yeah. The whenever I say if I don't speak clearly, the wrong words will come out of my mouth. So like, you know, damn standard is kind of fun though, because it's like, it's damn standard. That's just a fun one. But the rake brush, if you don't say that the right way, it sounds very
Oh,
different.
that's why I thought you said pin. I was like,
Yeah.
where is that? The up pin. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the up part.
I have a question. You said that to delete one of the circles was to press Alt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it is.
Has to be
not
when you have draw on.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
It's still not letting me do it.
is it a tip? Honestly, you know, it's just his eyes are spheres, so they'll probably end up being the real thing. I'm probably gonna like dig a little hole for the pupil or something, but
So we're not going to go as complex with the eyes that we did with the rest. It's just like,
I mean, it depends on your style.
do the eyes have to be a separate?
Yes. We have to, again, we're following the same rules here. It's just a different style. So you still have to have the eyes that are separate. You have to have the sockets. You have to have the mouth hole. That all follows the same thing. And those 6 sideburns. What?
I'm kind of interested in how the squash and stretch brush will live with this.
Oh, you mean like the squash and stretch brush?
Kind of like just making a boot in a way that's in squashing and stretching.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what, when I was telling the students when we worked on this, because this was like a summer project we just worked on. I told them specifically I wanted to go cartoony. A lot of my stuff is not cartoony. It's kind of more, well, it's not realistic, but it's not like Looney Tunes. Like this one, I wanted to go more Looney Tunesy with it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious. Honestly, right now, it's kind of reminding me of like a Wallace and Gromit character.
That's the,
There's no teasing.
Okay. All right. Let's go and start separating this stuff off. Yeah, he's kind of cute. I like him. All right. Let's go to move. And I'm gonna click on the body, let it split, unmask points. So the body is one piece. I'm gonna go back to here, this subtool. Control. Should be able to. Okay. This all one. Yeah, okay, it's all one polygroup. That explains things. All right, let's do polygroups, autogroups. And I want to mirror these autogroups so I don't have to like keep grabbing things. Modify topology, mirror and weld. There we go. So let's grab these guys. Eyeballs split to unmasked points. So the eyeballs are their own thing. Ears split unmasked points. And then the ears are going to get merged into the rest of the body. Nope. Cancel. Make sure I got the right thing actually selected. There we go. So the ears and the body are in the same piece. The hair is its own piece. Eyes, I have a concern about. So Kiki, I might have been lying to you. I may have to make new eyes. Here's my concern. So they were touching and probably,
Oh,
yeah, so I'm just gonna have to use new spheres. That's fine.
He's somewhat of a cyclops.
Well,
Like a
I mean,
cyclops.
not really, but kind of. So it's okay for like the spheres to touch inside the head because like just some characters, that's just how small the head is and how big the eyes are. That's going to happen. But these are already touching and we're already welded. So I'm just going to use new spheres. These will probably end up being my socket cutters or something. So we'll see.
So with the hair and the eyes are separate, but are the ears gonna stay with the body?
Yep, I merged them down and I'm going to do a Dynamesh right now. So there you go. So now it's one piece. And actually, you know what? I probably could have gone lower res with that anyways. Maybe a little higher res. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why we're doing these characters as a cartoony style is they lend themselves to a low resolution sculpt. So I'm just going to go and take out some of that faceting we have here and just kind of smooth them out. So be light with it because if you do it too aggressively, you will lose. You'll lose form. Okay. We're almost up today. I made a naked cartoon man.
He looks beautiful.
I love his hair. Yeah,
Gorgeous.
he kind of reminds me of Puppy a little bit.
Look, I'm just happy he looks somewhat like the character in the drawing, so that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, the body, Robin.
All right. So for you guys, get to this point for Monday. Okay.
Shit. I started staring at too long.
I understand it's not the prettiest thing, but I feel like it looks a little bit better.
Because like thinking about birthday, the midget being lowered, then like how mine would be. Is that like that? Oh my god, what the hell am I trying to say? The point like is I'm not gonna interact like with the rigging process and I mean like rigging the legs, the placement, like how your pictures right there, would that make complications or is it fine because of the placement of the joints? Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing in this design that would be tricky at all to rig. This would be really easy.
I just need help with troubleshooting the program. Because It's doing that multicolored cross, that multicolored crosshair thing again, and it's not letting me redo something.
Okay. I'll take a look.
So when do you want us to submit the check?
I'll do a walk around, take a look on Monday, check in with you guys.
Oh, so that the turn-in is not for the check-in, the turn-in.
Let me check, let me take a look. Did I write a date on the handout?
You did not. say.
Let me take a look.
The only date I saw was when it's actually due.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have two check-ins, so I was just making sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so let's do it, yeah, let's do a check-in on Monday. So, I mean, you're going to have progress at any point during the project that we can take a look at. But yeah, we can take a look on Monday and have you turn something in. So Monday gets to get to this point where you are past the Zspheres, and you are sculpting and you're getting your characters to look like what's on your paper. Okay. Yes, sir.
So what is my motto? Do I want to keep like the arms like how they are like that instead of having that drooping like with the jacket right here?
So I am making my guy naked before I start adding clothes.
Yeah,
So that's where I'm going from first.
yeah. Do I want to like extract that from like the drawing? Like, so I'm not building like that little draping right there. I want to like make it more like tight and like this.
Yes, and for what your character will look like naked. That's what you're- Just work with it.
All right.
Okay. All right, guys. We got a few minutes left in class. So why don't you go ahead and take some time and get started, okay? Got some questions. Yeah. In fact, probably I'll just do it right now. Issue one. Yeah, so this is actually. It's in the work.
Yeah.
Start with that, we'll move it in first, you have to have it centered. Yeah, you should have that just just start your initial place. I don't know what happened. Again, moving it around is going to ruin something. Oh, like you're moving, you're literally looking at it, that's picking up and moving it in space. So if you need to rotate around it, and around it. Okay, I'm trying to figure out stuff. Just hit that. That's what you want. Yeah, so again, you're doing move, that's breaking symmetry.
So just, disable symmetry and then reactivate it.
It's moving it from, there's only one center on it. So when you move it off of that, it's not centered. Go back in time, so you got your undo right here, go all the way to the beginning. All right, now it should be centered. It's undo a few times. Okay, so just hit that on the keyboard.
Or is it go to draw? Just make more spheres.
You're going to be making more spheres and we're bringing them up with lines. You don't need to leave it on edit. Okay, when you have draw. Yeah. So use the long tool. So the stuff is outside of the folder. So objects are objects. That does not affect this. So all we need to say is take your head and neck. So these are butters, and this on. So either that is subtractive. Nothing to add to the subtraction. So here, forward, give a second.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would sure.
I would say.
I'm so inspired. I'm so
I was trying to do that, that's not working. Like, I'm trying to like set it up. Or you have to build a.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Now do it.
So still doing it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's on the tools.
So now I ended up putting them. Yeah, so you know where the.
Got a problem. We'll leave it to you.
Okay, I just have a quick question. So I'm trying to build up the legs, like I'm trying to get the spheres going up to here. But like, it's not like.
You're growing the sphere, make the hips, and then do another sphere on top of it. Do another sphere on top of that, and then do the switch.
Yeah, okay, it wasn't like a drawer because like for some reason it was like a transparency thing. When I was doing this. Like it was making them these part of like transparent. I don't know.
He's 50 years old. And his species, and his species is 50 years old, but human hair is 10 years old. That's why he's a big one.
Guys, don't forget to put your tablets up,
That means he's an adult.
pens up, stuff like that.
Yoda lived to be 100 years old. I know, right?
We'll continue to make our wiener man next week.
Professor, did you finish Book of Boba Fett?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rancor, yay!
Yay!
That almost got killed.
How the hell did that thing not get killed? It was getting gut shot repeatedly. The Rancor, Book of Boba Fett. You stop. You stop.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. My friend did.